So we've talked about multiplying fractions and fractions, but how about if we're trying to multiply a fraction by a whole number? Well, one thing we need to remember is that multiplication is simply repeated addition. It's where instead of doing 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, we can just do 2 times 5. Another thing we don't want to forget is the word of. In math, it actually means multiply. So if I were to say 1/3 of 4, I'm literally just repeating 1/3 4 different times, or doing the multiplication problem, 1/3 times 4. Now, if we were going to color the candy bars below to show that multiplication, I would be showing how I color in 1/3 of each of the 4 candy bars. And if we add up how many total pieces I just colored, I colored in 4 of those pieces. How many complete candy bars can I make? Well, if I think about it this way, if I did a little drawing over here, and I had 3 pieces for each candy bar, and I colored in 4 parts, that means I could fill in the whole candy bar, and I would have 1 piece left over. So I could make 1 whole candy bar, and I would just have 1/3. One of those third pieces would be left over. So what does that mean? Well, it means that 1/3 times 4, if I put these together, my mixed number is 1 1/3. So here's the rule. The product of a fraction and a whole number is always going to actually be smaller than the whole number that you started with. And that makes sense if I think about how I'm only using 1 part, like I did up here in my candy bars. I'm only using 1 part of the 4 candy bars. Let's try some examples. If we know that the word of stands for multiplication, what would it look like to solve? Now, sometimes we're not always going to use a model because it doesn't make the most sense. But let's try it another way. We know that if we were going to write a whole number as a fraction, I take that whole number and I just put it over the number 1. Working backwards, what do I know the word of means? It means to multiply. And my 6/8 is going to stay where it was. Now that we know the rules of multiplying fractions and fractions, I can literally multiply straight across. 6 times 5 gives me 30, and 8 times 1 is 8. From here, I know that I can just divide and find my mixed number. That's going to be how I leave my answer, never improper. Let's take 30 and divide by 8. It goes in 3 times with 6 left over. So my mixed number is going to be 3 6/8. Now there's one more step because we always want to simplify. If I divide by the greatest common factor of 2, I will reach my final answer, 3 3/4. Circle that final answer so that we know that that's the last step that you have. For the next one, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to start with our 2/9. What does the word of mean? Multiply. And I'm going to put my 8 over 1. Go ahead and pause the video, multiply this fraction, and then check your answer when you're done. Okay, so if I multiply straight across, I'm going to get 16 over 9. I can't leave it like that, so I'm going to divide. It goes in 1 time with 7 left over. My final answer is 1 7/9, and it does not simplify. Pause the video and try the next 3 problems on your own. Then come back and check your work with mine. All right, let's see how you did. 1/5 of means times, and I'm going to put 4 over 1. Multiplying straight across, oh, that was an easy one. It's not improper, and it's simplified. For number 4, you should have kept 3/5 times 12 over 1. I get 36 over 5. I'm going to come off to the margin, and I'm going to do that math. I'm going to find that I get 1 left over. My final answer, I'll do it over here, should be 7 1/5. Doesn't need simplified because 1/5 is as simple as I can go. For my last one, I did 3/10 times 15 over 1. I'll find that I get 45 over 10. Now I'm going to go ahead and divide, and you're going to find that it goes in 4 times with 5 left over. So my mixed number is going to be 4 5/10. But let's make sure when we simplify, we divide by our greatest common factor of 5. I should end up with 4 1/2.